Let's call this meeting to order and stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Honorable Mayor Ron Shaver,
Here.
Councilmember Dan Fowler,
Here.
Doug Slashow,
Here.
Allison Howe. Here. Clint Anderson,
Here.
Lisa Northrup. Here. Do I need to call Kevin if he's not here? And Kevin Lindell.
He's got an excused absence.
We'll miss him saying present.
So
I'm present today.
first item on the agenda is the minutes of the July 16th, 2019 City Council regular meeting. Mr. Brennan?
A copy of those minutes is in your packet and is presented for your approval of by resolution.
Does anybody have any questions or comments or changes to those minutes?
They look
Seeing
good.
none? Seeing none, I would entertain a resolution.
Your Honor, I offer a resolution approving the minutes from the July 16th, 2019 City Council regular meeting.
Second?
I have a resolution by Lisa Northrup, a second by Allison Howe. Vote by roll call.
That resolution carries 6-0 with Councilmember Lindell being absent.
Next is recognition of Mike Tibbetts for his years of service on the Planning Commission. Mr. Glanmeyer.
All right, thank you very much. We're pretty sad yet excited to recognize Mike tonight. Mike's been on the Planning Commission for 11 years, which is quite a feat. As you know, Planning Commission is one of our boards that really impacts the entire community. And it's a volunteer board. They meet twice a month, and they've put in a lot of time and service to the community. We're sad that Mike is leaving Fort Morgan and headed to the Front Range, be closer to family, but we're excited for that opportunity as well. But we felt it was certainly appropriate to recognize Mike and all of his years of service. The 2 years I've been able to work with Mike have been fantastic. I'm really glad to have him on the board. Sad to see him leave, and excited for his opportunity down there. Mayor Shaver, I know you've got a plaque, and we've also gotten Mike and his wife a gift card so that they can enjoy a nice dinner out on the city of Fort Morgan one last time. So I'd invite Mike up. Maybe he'd want to say a few words and just give you the opportunity to present that to him tonight. So thank you, Mike.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for the very kind words. I'm very honored and happy to be here to be recognized. And I appreciate, again, the recognition. And 11 years on the Planning Commission has been, it's been a real neat thing. I know it's just one small piece of the city organization, but I really enjoy the Planning Commission, and through the 11 years, I know it's kind of, this opinion is probably kind of comes from in a vacuum, but sitting on the commission the last couple of years, I've seen probably more enthusiasm with the city than I have since I've been on, and just with a lot more activity with, just whether it be permitting or special requests, larger ventures that are getting permits and building, and so just a lot of good things going on in Fort Morgan, and I would commend the City Council, administration, and all the other commissions and boards, because I just feel like everything's clicking on all cylinders, and that's my view from my little corner of the world, but it's been quite an honor to be on the Planning Commission, and as far as living in Fort Morgan, third generation here all of my life, so I'm always going to call Fort Morgan my home. And we'll be in Denver, but we're not divesting of all of our rental properties in Fort Morgan, and we still want to keep our hand in Fort Morgan. I need a good excuse to come back a day or two a week and keep busy here, so I'll be seeing you around. So thank you very much.
We have a plaque for you.
Very nice.
2008. What a start.
Wow.
And a gift card for you and Mac to go have dinner on the city.
Well, you won't have to talk us into doing that.
That's
So,
right. So-
yep, thank you very much.
Well,
It's,
we really do appreciate the time you put in. You've been an asset to the whole community over your generations here, and we look forward to seeing you back in town here once in a while. So,
Oh, will do, will do. Well, thank you so much, very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And I was going to say, that's a two-way street as far as is being an asset to the community. We want to thank the community, Mac and I and our family. You know, we've tried to offer goods and services in Fort Morgan the community wanted, but it's a two-way street in turn. We've had a lot of support from the entire community, so our family appreciates that. So, thank you.
thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Mike.
We did.
Thank you.
One of the best concerts I ever went to was with Mike.
We had a good time.
We did.
We won't mention how many years ago that was.
No, that will date us.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, speaking of business of the month, Mike has had some of the best businesses in town and offered a lot to this community, so he will wish nothing but the best for him and Mac, and he's expecting a grandchild, so he's elated and over the top. And next on our agenda is Business of the Month Award for August. Ms. Crosswaite.
Hi, everyone. So for the month of August, I would like to congratulate Zazzy's Cafe as the recipient for Business of the Month. This local hotspot in our community, I think, really reflects the warm hospitality and welcoming charm that we find here in our city. The owner, Robert Ingersoll, bought the cafe in February of this year, and as a new business owner, he's done really amazing things and added really cool new items to his menu, such as canoa bowls, breakfast burritos, sandwiches, and much, much more. I believe that his innovative spirit and just willingness to create food that brings people together is what makes Zazzy's Cafe a unique asset to our business community. So once again, I would like to congratulate Zazzy's Cafe as Business of the Month for August, and I would invite Rob to come up and accept the award. And then this is your sign that took put outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Do I have to get a permit?
Yeah, no. Burn.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a public hearing to consider an application for a special use permit for an alternative fence standard at Colorado Plains Medical Center. This is a public hearing. Please keep comments to the issues before the council. Each speaker is asked to limit comment time to 3 minutes unless the speaker represents a group of citizens, in which event additional time may be allocated. Please respect these limitations. I reserve the right to limit public comment that is inappropriate under these guidelines or otherwise improper. I also reserve the right to limit testimony or questioning that is repetitive, cumulative, argumentative, or not pertinent to the issues, and to set a time limit on the duration of testimony if I determine it necessary in light of the number of persons who have signed up to testify. First is the issue of legal notice. Has the hearing been properly noticed?
Legal notice of this public hearing appeared in the Fort Morgan Times on July 18th.
Next is presentation of the application. Mr. Glanmeyer.
All right, thank you. Good evening. What you have in your packet here tonight is a special use permit request for an alternative fence standard. The code does allow for fences to be built outside of our code through special use permit. CPMCs, we've been working with Wes for a while. They have a small deck off the backside of their Alzheimer's wing, and they would like to allow patients out on that deck to get some, some outside time. The fence is only 6 feet, and regulations require that they have a 10-foot fence in order to have folks outside. So we've tried to work with them to determine how best to do that. It's not really fencing in, as you would see a normal fence, fencing in the entire parcel. It's really just for this deck. So we felt this was probably the best box to fit them in, is the special use permit for alternative fence. We think this is a perfect use of this process. We'd like to see those folks be able to go outside as well. We took this to the Planning Commission in a public meeting. We didn't have any public comment on the issue. I've received several phone calls just asking about, what's this about, and are you impacting my fence, or what's the story here? So we've answered those. Nobody's against this request. So staff really thinks this meets the criteria. We've included the criteria in your packet so that you can see that. We ask that you'd base your decision on those 6 criteria. We think they're met. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this case by you all tonight. So staff is also recommending approval of this case. This is case 19-013SU. And we would just have this condition that the special use would run with the land in perpetuity until such time that the deck and fence may need to be removed or relocated from its current location. This would just give us another opportunity to look at it in case they wanted to expand or something of that nature. So be happy to answer any questions you might have of me on this application.
So they're not expanding the area, just going up with the fence?
That's correct.
Any other questions for Mr. Glanmeyer?
Nope.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Next, we'll hear comments from the applicant, if any. Does the applicant wish to address council, or are they here? No. Next, public comments. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on the issue? Seeing none, I would ask the city clerk if any oral or written comments were submitted prior to this hearing.
There were none.
Any comments by council? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Lisa Northrup, a second by Doug Sashow. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Council action, Mr. Wilson.
Mayor and council, you've heard the presentation in support of this special use permit application. Appropriate action is by a resolution.
I would entertain a resolution for approval or denial.
Your Honor, I would offer a resolution approving case number 19-013SU, a special use permit for an alternative fence standard, as was recommended by the Planning Commission, and that the special use runs with the land in perpetuity.
Second.
Have a resolution by Lisa Northrup and a second by Clint Anderson. Vote by roll call.
Resolution carries unanimously.
Next is presentation adopting new Fort Morgan Municipal Airport minimum standards. Mr. Glanmeyer.
All right, thank you. Well, we've been working on a set of airport minimum standards for our airport for quite some time. This really was brought on and predicated by our new airport operator that we have up there, our skydivers. We realized early on that we didn't really have a good set of standards governing what might happen at the airport, both with just operators, aeronautical, non-aeronautical, building standards, architectural standards, just control of access in and out of the airport, through the fence, these types of things. And these are not uncommon to see at airports. So I started looking around at other airports, found some really nice standards with Greeley, Longmont, Loveland, and also a nice set from Yellowstone in Wyoming. And so I began the process of drafting these. You have the document in your packet. It's rather voluminous. There's several pages in there. We've tried to incorporate all of the elements that you'd see in a set of minimum standards. Staff, before I came, had drafted a pretty nice set of construction standards, so we've incorporated those as well into the backside of that. The airport board has looked at these a number of times over the last several months. Mayor Shaver can attest to that. He's attended those meetings. So we've been through these with several fine-tooth combs, I would believe, and they are ready for your adoption tonight. The board did recommend unanimously adoption of these standards. And this, again, will just give us a nice way to accept applications for businesses and control those businesses as they move into the airport. We want that, and hopefully we'll see more operators in the near future. So be happy to answer questions about the standards or something you read or just in general.
I've got a couple, hopefully really simple ones.
I'll try.
So for that last Article 7, that's enforcement, can you explain as far as the powers to enforce these standards, does that rest with the Airport Advisory Board? Is it us? Is it the FFA or FAA?
Can you help me find exactly what section? Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's the tail end, page 42 and 43. So, and this might, yeah, I'm just curious as far as if this talks through, it could be
Sure.
We're assisted by City Council, Airport Advisory Board, Morgan County Sheriff, Morgan County Fire Chief, and Fire Marshal.
Right.
So it just will depend on what the infraction is, I guess.
Yep.
That which board will be called to help enforce.
That's correct. What we've tried to do is just cover the gamut of things that may happen up there that may need. If we have, an operator that's doing something with fueling, a major fueling operation or something of this nature, then we'd certainly want to bring in the Fort Morgan Fire Chief, but wouldn't necessarily need to bring in maybe the City Council or something of this nature. So we've just tried to cover in case we get any or all types of activities up there. Everything starts with me as the airport manager, and then we'll filter that out as we need assistance depending on the activity.
Got it. And then one thing I think will be really interesting and fun for the public to learn, kind of in the explanatory introduction, it talks about how these standards are to help support economic stability and orderly development of the airport. So if you kind of hash that out a little bit and give some examples of how it's going to help with that economic stability and orderly development of the airport.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it really started with the airport master plan that we just completed. That gave us a good roadmap on where to look at land for, let's say, a non-aeronautical activity. And you may say, what the heck is that? Well, think of a restaurant.
Right.
If you wanted to have a restaurant at the airport, it's really not an aeronautical activity, but it is a business that we'd want to locate up there. So we have land set aside with the airport master plan. Then this guides us on exactly what that business can do, how it operates, what insurances we might need, what the building might look like when it gets constructed with the architectural standards, and then just how they operate day to day through their business. Maybe an aeronautical activity such as, we've got spraying operations, we've got skydiving operations, but maybe you've got a full-on mechanic shop up there. That's an aeronautical activity where they're actually working on planes all day, every day. So we would know where to locate them, what insurances we need, what type of building they would need, and what that would look like going in and out of there. So a couple of examples about how this helps guide that economic activity.
Yeah, it's really exciting and really good work.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? I'd just like to say I've watched you put everything together from start to finish and what we've had, and you've done a very exemplary job. I think the document that we have is one that other places may plagiarize. So
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the work and time you put into it. I know what's gone into it. So
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
There's no other questions. I would entertain a resolution adopting the minimum standards.
Your Honor, I offer a resolution to adopt the new Fort Morgan Municipal Airport minimum standards.
I have a resolution by Allison Howell, a second by Clint Anderson. Vote by roll call.
Resolution carries unanimously.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.
Next is a presentation on bids to upfit 2 unmarked police vehicles. Commander Sharp.
Good evening. So you might remember a few months ago I came in front of you about an upfit for a vehicle that we were going to need that we purchased last year but didn't originally have in the budget. That was a undercover vehicle that we were going to use for investigations. The plan initially was not to upfit it. We bought a civilianized version of it, and there were some problems that we couldn't overcome with it to be used for that purpose. However, we did need investigative vehicles anyway, so we are now going to change that over and upfit that vehicle so that it can be used as an investigations vehicle, and next year we would purchase that other one that is in the budget for next year anyway. We were able to save some money on the code enforcement vehicle and also the investigations vehicle we bought this year. So we were able to save that money to be able to reutilize that in this budget. And also we purchased a Ford Interceptor police vehicle. It has not come in yet, but we are looking to upfit both of those vehicles. We did go out to bid on July 5th for the second time. We got no bids the first time, and we received one bid for both the undercover or unmarked police vehicles, both of them from Laws, in the amount of $6,995.98. I'm asking to give us a little bit of leeway, $7,400 for the Jeep and $7,300 for the Ford. Just in the fact that we've never had a Jeep, we don't really know what the expenses are, so I threw another $100 in just for those unforeseen circumstances. Are there any questions about that?
Any questions for Commander Sharp? Seeing none, I would entertain a resolution.
Your Honor, I would offer a resolution accepting the bid from Laws of Inglewood, Colorado to purchase equipment and outfit a Jeep Cherokee in an amount not to exceed $7,400, and accept the bid from Laws of Inglewood to purchase equipment and outfit a Ford Explorer in an amount not to exceed $7,300.
Second.
I have a resolution by Lisa Northrup and a second by Doug Sawshaw. Vote by roll call.
Resolution carries unanimously.
Thanks. Next is presentation on sole source purchase for ballistic shields for the police department.
So last year, we purchased 2 ballistic tactical shields for use by our regional SWAT team. This came from what used to be the Drug Task Force, bless you. We used to be the Drug Task Force funds, and we were able to use it regionally. We were able to fund 2 shields last year for the SWAT team. We're asking to get 2 more this year for patrol. We put those in our budget. These would be shields that would be taken out on a daily basis should we need them. They will stop a rifle. Our vests will stop only some handguns and will not stop a rifle. So that's part of our purchase. They are a large purchase, and therefore they meet the $10,000 requirement. Since I made this memo, we did get another estimate. It's actually a little bit cheaper now, but the cost is $7,901.30 per shield for a total of $15,802.60, with $50 shipping for each one, so another $100 on top of that. It is sole source, given the fact that I talked to Mr. Wells. He determined it would be qualify for sole source. Given the fact that we do have 2 that are just like it, we will train just as we have been training the other officers. We will continue to train so we don't have multiple shields with different training that goes. They do have a viewport and a flashlight on them. So, any questions about that?
How do you say that second part of what? Could you say their name so when we don't butcher it?
Yeah, the name of the company.
No, the ASPIS.
Yeah, so it's actually an Aspis X
Paraclete?
Gen 2.
Paraclete?
So
Paraclete is the name of the company, yes.
Paraclete.
Paraclete is the name of the company.
Okay, we'll just skip the actual,
Okay.
yeah, okay, good call.
How do you guys practice with them?
Yeah.
Have just, it's a...
Someone wants a field trip.
You know, they're actually not that heavy, but there's things to try to figure out how you're going to use them. The viewport, making sure that we're using the viewport, not bringing your heads too high, utilizing the lighting, different things like that.
You don't use them at the shooting range?
I don't, no.
You find out really quickly if you're throwing like Nerf balls if you do it wrong.
So do these have the special threat rounds also? They're capable?
Yes. They stop, not every rifle round, but virtually every rifle round, most of them.
Very good.
Pretty cool looking too.
What's that?
So they're pretty cool looking too.
Yeah, they are.
It's important.
So
Sorry.
I would entertain a resolution.
Your Honor, I would offer a resolution allowing sole source purchase of 2 Paraclete shields with viewports and lights for the police department.
Second?
A resolution by Lisa Northrup and a second by Allison Howell, vote by roll call.
Resolution carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. Next is update on economic development and marketing. Crossway.
Hi, everyone again. So I'm just going to give a quick update on what we've been doing thus far in economic development and marketing since I started, which was in February. So to kind of bring you guys back, when I first came here, we decided to focus on certain areas within this department as to what we wanted to do to ensure that we were being strategic in our efforts. So those areas of focus were marketing, business retention and expansion, along with attraction, housing, and then also revitalizing our downtown. Since we've been doing that, we can go ahead and start with our marketing efforts. So I know the text is really small on there, the photos, which I did on purpose, so that now you have to go see our city website and our LinkedIn profile so you can read about it, but I'll go pretty quickly over what we've done. We've done a few updates to the city website in terms of economic development. We've condensed the landing page to just one paragraph with bullet points on the different services that we offer. The whole angle behind it is that we're still marketing, we're a one-stop shop, but rather than talking about what the Economic Development Department does, rather the conversation is what we offer. And then we've also added several new tabs over to the left. Some of those include key industries, which talk about the industries within Fort Morgan that are really prevalent. So for example, that's agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, education. Those are 4 of our largest industries, and so I think that's really great to market that. It shows neighboring businesses and companies that we already have really great established companies, and that if they came and brought their company over here, they'd be just as successful. We also have added incentives that we offer, and this is not only here locally, such as our facade improvement program and our downtown as-built program, but also state and federal incentives, such as the enterprise zone and the opportunity zone as well. A really cool feature that we've added, and I'll kind of show you guys in the next slide, is site selection. This new tab has a list of all our all our commercial property within the city of Fort Morgan. I think it's just another really great tool that allows developers or a potential entrepreneur who wants to purchase a property here to have a really simple way to access that without having to go and look for it on their own. We've also added a couple other tabs, such as historic downtown, community profile, and then strategic partnerships. The strategic partnerships one I think is really important because it lists all of the local, state, and federal resources and programs that are really, I believe, imperative for local business owners and also entrepreneurs to look at. And so what we've done is basically gathered all those resources for them in one place so that we make it easy for them to not only start a business but also expand on what they have. We have also created a LinkedIn profile, and so I'm going to go ahead and plug it in for you guys. City of Fort Morgan Economic Development, look it up, give us a follow. Please share our post. It's a really great way to stay updated with what we're doing in terms of economic development in the city and showcasing all of the really great progress that we're doing. And just to kind of give you guys a quick overall analytics of the page, in the last 30 days, and I've pulled this data on Monday, we've had 14 visitors. We've had 6 custom button clicks. And what that is that if you see on there, the banner page, it says visit website. We've had 6 people click on that, which means they're not only looking at our LinkedIn profile, but now they're going directly to our city page to check us out, which is awesome. We have also had about 642 impressions on the post that we've made, and we've had an addition of 6 new followers. So in total, that brings us to 24 followers. So again, please give us a follow and please share us any posts that we put up. The easiest way for us to gain followers is by other people reposting what we put up, and that motivates people to want to follow our page. So I encourage you to follow. We've also upgraded some of the things we've done in terms of marketing for the radio, newspaper, and theater ads. A lot of our ads were outdated, and we're kind of just rerunning the same thing from last year, and we weren't really being strategic on how we were spending that money. So instead, what we did is we made the focus now for our local business community. So for example, our Business of the Month recipient, the money that we spend on radio ads goes completely them for 1 month. So we get to allow these local businesses in our community who usually don't have money to market themselves to use the radio station, the newspaper, to market themselves and really promote their business. And I think it's really encouraging for the local business community because, like I said, marketing is usually the last thing on the budget. And for them to just have that little assistance really showcases that not only is the city here to ensure that they're successful, but that they're also willing to expand. We've also created an economic profile, and this is a hard copy. It's a hard copy profile on our city, and it offers really great information regarding our demographics, our incentives, the assets within our city, such as the fact that we own all our utilities, that we have fiber optic infrastructure, all these really great things that we get to put together in one booklet and really sell ourselves. So the next page is just kind of a follow-up showing you guys what that looks like in terms of marketing. So if you see there on the left, La Michoacana, that was one of our Business of the Month, and that's what the ad looked like on the Fort Morgan Times. The top picture there is a look into our economic profile, which we've put together again. It just lists a lot of great information, which is what developers are looking for when they're thinking about bringing a business here or expanding. And then at the bottom is basically what we have in our economic profile, except now it's on our website too, which again, it allows people to not only connect with us through hard copy and distribution of what we have, but also be able to go online and download that information. If you see what's circled there in the red, those are all downloadable reports in regards to our retail trade area, which we've gotten from the retail coach. And what it really does is, again, provide hard data and numbers to these developers and retail companies that are looking to come our way on what our population size looks like, what our shopping patterns are, all this great information that, again, they're looking to get, and we're providing it for them. So, Centerpoint, which for us, we've really used as kind of the stepping stone to address the housing issue here in Fort Morgan. Centerpoint itself, if you look there on the left, that's a conceptual map. We can't guarantee that it'll look like that. It may not, but it at least provides a sort of idea of what we would like the site to look like in total. It's about 200 acres, and what you see circled in red is an opportunity zone, which is about 100 acres. And that's really great because that's another selling point here in Fort Morgan that we've been aggressively marketing to developers out in the Front Range, and they're interested, and we're seeing a lot of interest. So if you look at the very top on the left, we've already sold 1 lot. That's the future site for Kiowa Eye Care Center. And then at the bottom on the left, we have a potential site for multifamily housing. We are in discussions with a potential developer, and we feel fairly confident that we're going to get really great development pretty soon here in Fort Morgan, which again is going to address that housing need that has really kind of been, I believe, kind of the block zone for us to grow not only in population size, but also get other businesses to come here or have our businesses expand. It's because housing is not there to support it. And then if you look there on the far right, those are current photos of what's going on there in Center Point. Prior to this position, I didn't think I would get excited about sidewalks or gutter, and now it's pretty amazing to see all that stuff being built out there when just a few months ago it was just dirt, and there's a lot of great movement happening there, and we're really excited to kind of see what that's going to look like when it's all developed. Okay, so our downtown, which is a huge area of focus for us. Within our city website, if you look at the top left, we have a tab dedicated just to our historic downtown, which has a kind of blurb about it, how unique it is, how it's the hub for recreation and arts. And then on the far right, you see a list of properties, which again is all available through that site selection feature that's now on our website. You can narrow it down to just Main Street, whatever you'd like, but you can see there that the area I focused on was Main Street, and it lists all the available commercial properties. And another really great feature about this is that it's completely free. So let's say that someone who owns a building hasn't listed it on a website or with a realtor or broker, but they still want to get their property some exposure, they can contact me directly, and I can list that property for them on that tool. And it's really awesome, and it's free. So there at the bottom, you see the Facebook page for Thursday Night Live. And just to kind of give you guys some quick stats on that, we've had about 112 page views from July 29th to August 4th. And we've had our post that we've put up has reached over 2,000 people. We have, I believe, about 299 people that like our page, and then we have over 300 people that follow our page. And what's really great with the whole Thursday Night Live is that, yes, it creates an experience in our downtown area, but it also creates a sense of place for downtown itself. The fact that we're sitting there and marketing Main Street as a hub for entertainment and a place to come and hang out is going to create a really long-term benefits, not only for the community and our residents, but also the businesses there. A lot of people in our community probably have never gone downtown, or they're probably not even aware of what's there. And being able to walk up and down Main Street and just check out the shops that are there is going to create a really long-term positive impact, I believe. So, our strategy moving forward. I really want to capitalize on the upward swing that we're seeing right now in terms of economic development for the city. But we need to get smart about how we do this and, again, just go back to the table and re-strategize ourselves. So we're looking at different programs and softwares that are going to do that are going to increase the way that we interact with our current businesses, that it's going to assist us in attracting new businesses, that's going to provide direct outreach to different industries, and again, just diversify what we have here in Fort Morgan. So the first one is PA Group CRM, which is a customer relation management system. And what that does is it creates a database for us to list all our current business owners and just potential contacts that we have. It allows us to create projects on there and track them. And at the end of the day, have a metric for how many projects we're winning, how many we're losing. It also allows us to track any incentives we offer. So for example, the facade improvement program. It allows us to also address like business retention and expansion solutions. So it allows us to have direct contact with our local business community. It's just a really great tool that condenses what we do, but now it provides a metric for us so that we can actually run reports and say, for the month of August, we contacted this many business owners, or for the month of August, we were able to close this deal. And so again, it's just providing metrics for what we're doing, but also storing this information in one singular place. The second one is Gazelle AI. They are a database that has companies from all around the world, and they have indexed these companies for growth, whether they're ready to grow or not, whether they're ready to expand or move somewhere else. And it's all housed within this software. And it's a really amazing software that allows us to basically provide direct outreach to these companies on our own, rather than relying on a firm to do that outreach for us. I'm a firm believer that the only person that can sell your house is you. And so if we want to sell our city and we want to position ourselves as the next place to bring your business, then we're in the best position to do so if we do it ourselves. And so this Gazelle AI system is really great because it provides us direct contact information to C-level executives and allows us to interact with them not only through their direct contact information, but also other social media avenues such as LinkedIn, for example. And then I have a couple more information about them that I don't want to make sure I don't miss. Another really great feature about this tool is that they also have a list of projects within the database that are ready to go projects. The only issue is that the companies have not found a site to do this expansion at or to move their business at. And so this is really great because when we can go through a project and look through it and say, yeah, this looks like it fits here in Fort Morgan, let's aggressively market this, we already have all the information at hand rather than trying to play the guessing game. So it's a really great tool. The last one is Site Location Partnership. And this is a firm that offers really unique services that, again, allow us to not only have direct outreach with various industries, but again, continue to market ourselves and put our name out there. With SLP, they allow us to zone in on 2 different industries. So if we wanted to zone in, for example, on agriculture or manufacturing or education, whatever it may be, we can zone in on 2 different industries, and they will develop lists for us of over 600 companies with direct C-level executive contact information to be able to, again, market them aggressively to come to Fort Morgan, or at least plant the idea that Fort Morgan is the next place that you want to open up your business at. Another great feature of Site Location Partnership is that they will arrange 6 meetings for us per year to meet with site selectors. These site selectors directly represent large-scale companies that are looking or maybe possibly looking for a place to put their next headquarters at, their next business expansion, whatever it may be. And so we get to meet with these site selectors and, again, market our city very strategically. We also gain access to industry trade shows such as FabTech and their networking opportunities that they have as well, which again is another great avenue to have that face-to-face interaction with the people who make the decisions about whether a company is expanding or not. So in total for us really is being strategic about what we want to do and how we want to operate as a department. We want to make sure that we capitalize on the growth that we're seeing, but also realize that if we want, growth is going to happen regardless, right? And so we don't want growth to happen around us. We want growth to happen with us, but we have to be strategic about that growth. And being able for ourselves to go out there and do that direct type of marketing, being able to go out there and aggressively pursue these companies on our own, I think is going to be the most beneficial way. The last slide that I have is kind of a little bit of a 180 on what we've been discussing, but in terms of marketing, I think it's a really great tool. CGI Communications was a company that we came in contact with at CML. What they do is they provide businesses and communities, I'll just kind of go ahead and read through that snippet, across the U.S., video programs to tell stories about Main Street businesses and just in general your local business community. And they basically highlight the meaningful impact that these businesses have on our community. So what they do is they create 4 videos about 1 minute to 2.5 minutes long. The time frame for this project is usually about 3 to 4 months from start to finish. And what's really great is that this is a free service, right? But how do they make their money? Because everyone has to make money somehow. What they do is they ask for businesses to sponsor them. And if businesses don't wish to sponsor them, that's completely fine. It's all voluntary. And their job is to go out into the business community and tell them, hey, if you want to sponsor this video that we're making, you get to have your logo on there. And you also, and the businesses can also opt to create their own video, which is used as a promotional marketing tool. What's really great about CGI Communications is that they focus specifically on the business community and the value that that adds. So rather than just doing a whole video about just the city of Fort Morgan, this is really zoning in on our local business community, which I believe is very unique here in Fort Morgan, and being able to showcase that is very important. And these videos are really great is because you can put them on the city website, you can put them on your social media accounts, whatever you'd like, and the businesses themselves can also put those videos up as well, again, to market themselves. What's really great is that businesses do choose to opt in and sponsor a video or purchase a video of their own. They also get analytics with it so that they understand how their video is doing in terms of viewership. Are people clicking through from the video to the website if they have one, or their Facebook account, whatever it may be. And again, what's really important to note is that this is completely voluntary. It's at no cost to the city. If this is something that I think would be really positive for us to do, and if we'd like to move forward, at that point, the only thing that's left is for the city manager. He would just sign a letter of approval saying that we endorse this and that we think it's really great for the community, and then from there, it's up to them to go out into the community and get those sponsorships from the businesses. Let's say that they don't get absolutely any sponsorships, that's completely fine. They still produce the video. I did ask them about the cost regarding what it would be, let's say if a business did want to sponsor a video. It usually starts between $1,000 to $5,000, so. That is it. Do you guys have any questions for me?
We're still using Retail Coach.
Yeah, so with the Retail Coach, that contract actually ends this year. And I think something really important to note, the Retail Coach was great and they provided a lot of, I think, data for us. But the only key component that was missing there was that we weren't doing that direct outreach ourselves. So we weren't getting the ability to sell our city. Someone else was doing that for us. And I think that if we want to be more strategic about what we're doing, it makes sense for us to sell it ourselves. And with these 3 programs and softwares that we're looking at, it's about still less than half the cost of the Retail Coach.
So are you looking at re-upping with the Retail Coach?
I am not looking at re-upping that contract with the Retail Coach, so no.
Just asking.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Sarah?
Great work.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate the update.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good job. Next item is public comment or audience participation for comments or things not on the agenda. Seeing none, reports by officials and staff.
Thanks, Your Honor. I've got a couple of things to just mention. I hope the community will bear with us for another couple of weeks, and we'll get Sherman Street reopened and paved, and it'll all be worth it. We are still looking to fill those very big shoes left by Mike Tibbetts on the Planning Commission, so we're looking for applications for that position. That's a 6-year term, and it's probably one of the most active boards and most important boards that we have, so if anybody's interested in that. Thursday is the final installment of Thursday Night Live and also the Police Department's National Night Out event. We'll still have the activities on Main Street. The Police Department's activities will be focused around City Park, and that goes from 5 to 8 p.m. And today was the day for picking up petition packets for candidates for city council. We've had a number taken out, and they need to be returned by the 26th. And so that's kind of off and running. There may be some other things. But Lauren, is the police department still on kind of the modified schedule?
So, good question. As of today, when I went in at 5:30 this morning, we were able to get the office down to about 81 degrees. When I left, my office was 98 degrees today. The motor that's supposed to be brought into Fort Morgan is supposed to be here today, and the email I got today says that it's being detained. The truck is being detained somewhere between here and Texas. So I don't know if it's going to be here tomorrow to be repaired or what the status is, but if it's 98 degrees in the office, I would imagine we will not be. We will be working a modified schedule. I have people coming in early, but the front office is closing. If it gets 85, 90 degrees in the office, they're going to be closed. So
Understandable.
You don't have any windows to open.
no windows to open, and that's what's caused the problem. We can't cool it down. It just gets hotter every day as the heat comes up. So.
Just one more thing. We kind of got rained out at the last Thursday Night Live and had the city booth with RSNH with the Fieldhouse survey. Didn't get the kind of turnout we were hoping for, but the residents can take that survey online. It's just a short survey about their desires and their usage of the Fieldhouse. And so there's a news release on the website which has a link to that survey, and they can do that through August 15th. So for about another 10 days, they can go on there, and we encourage people, as many people as possible, to take that survey and let us know their feelings about that project.
Is that the same survey that they had down at?
Yes, yep. And that's all I've got. Does anybody else have anything? Nodding heads in the bullpen.
No relief.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, thanks. Bids, meetings, and announcements.
We are currently accepting sealed bids for pad-mounted transformers until 2:45 p.m. on August 8th. Also accepting sealed bids for the storage barn roof replacement project until 3 p.m. on August 22nd. And accepting sealed bids for the tennis court demolition project until 3:30 on August 22nd. We have the Airport Advisory Board meeting on August 14th at noon at the Fort Morgan Municipal Airport. The Library Advisory Board meeting in the Museum Community Room on August 19th at 4:30. Downtown Business Public Input Meeting at City Hall on August 19th at 6 p.m. And then the regular City Council meeting here at City Hall on August 20th at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is an executive session for discussion of a personnel matter under CRS Section 24-6-4024F and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body or elected official, the appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or of an elected official, or personnel policy that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees, and the following additional details are provided for identification purposes. Update on the city attorney search. With that, I would entertain a motion to retire to executive session.
Your Honor, I offer a motion that we retire to executive session.
Second.
I have a motion by Lisa Northrup and a second by Clint Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will retire to executive session.